Megan, and I'm the head of partnerships at Smartacoo. We've also got our CEO, Claude.
Hi, everyone.
Amazing, welcome, Claude, and the incredible Aleasha Bahr, who I met at Social Media Marketing World. And I'll hand over to her in a second. But for what we're doing here is a Smartacoo masterclass. So we're going to bring you the best industry experts to help you grow your business, whether that's on social, anything to do with marketing. We are a world-leading social media tool, which is where you put all of your content. You can schedule it to every single platform. Think LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all at once from one easy place. See what you're doing well, remove what you're not doing well, and really grow quicker and smarter. So we've just launched agency features as well, which is cool. You can collaborate with any teammate anywhere in the world. And if you're interested, then we'll share something special with you at the end. And we've also got something for you to win too. So stick around. So we'll let Aleasha do her thing. And at the end, there's going to be hot seating and live Q&A. So get ready for that. And we've also got a giveaway of, I believe, Aleasha, do you want to tell everybody what the giveaway is and tell everybody how they can win?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, what you're going to hear here in this masterclass is more general, although there will be some hot seat stuff we do after each of the major points. And there's an opportunity for an hour-long deep dive that you can win where it'll be very specific to you. We create materials that you can implement immediately and take with you. So it's an hour-long deep dive that's usually $500.
Amazing. And if you want to win, all that you need to do is comment in the chat. If you're like, where's the chat? And you're new to Google Meet, it's just the little speech bubble on the bottom right, win at any point. And then we're just going to pick somebody at random at the end. Okay? Amazing. So Aleasha's going to show us today how you can convert 80% of your sales calls. It sounds incredible. So I can't wait to hear all about it. And ask us questions anytime throughout, guys, with the chat, okay? We'll answer your questions at the end and have hot seats. Welcome, Aleasha.
Hi, I am so excited to be here with you guys and show you how easy sales can really be. Because a lot of sales experts like to complicate it because it makes them lots of money, is my theory. And it's really just, if you identified with the title of this masterclass, that means that you're probably going to be really great at sales. So has anyone here ever been told that they're too bold, too quiet, too much, not enough, and you needed to change what felt natural to you if you wanted to succeed? Does that resonate with anybody? Oh, wow.
Do you want us to answer or just?
I do. Yeah, I want to know. Like, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if that resonates with you, if you've ever heard anything like that. This is the experience of a black sheep. So I'm surprised if there's nobody who's had that experience, and you're very lucky because it's really unfortunate and unpleasant to experience. Yeah, you talk too much and now you get paid to talk. That's a great example. So the experience of a black sheep, and you might be wondering, like, am I a black sheep? I don't know, right? So the stereotypical definition of a black sheep is usually like the person in the family that's like angry and defiant and rebellious. And that's also a black sheep, but not what I'm talking about in this specific context. And separately, I am on a mission to reclaim it as a positive because it is a positive. Everybody is looking for a way to stand out, and black sheep just naturally do. So it's not exactly what I'm talking about in this specific context related to family. It's like everything else. So if you started your business because you were unable to deal with high levels of incompetence and low level of care in corporate, then you're a black sheep. If you became an entrepreneur because you're more about making an impact than just making a paycheck and going home, then you are also a black sheep. If you became a business owner because staying safe and miserable was too high a price to pay for the illusion of safety, then you're a black sheep. Those are all very different choices. And when you try traditional methods, whether that's an approach to life or marriage or parenting or whatever, it just doesn't seem to create the same success, whether that's financially or being happy with whatever quality of life. So why would sales be any different? Why would you use the same cookie cutter approach and expect the same results when you are anything but cookie cutter? You need a different approach that's in alignment and integrity for a black sheep. And we're going to discuss how being a black sheep is actually really powerful in sales specifically. So today we're going to talk about converting up to 80% of your sales without acting like a douchebag. So first, we're going to start with there's two main issues that cause people to struggle with sales. Has anyone here taken sales training before? Okay. So, or maybe used a sales script. And if you're using the sales script and you're doing the sales training and you're still not converting, does that mean you're bad at sales, right? And the answer is no, it doesn't. Because in sales training, did they tell you to do something that felt weird and then they told you just need to do it anyway? And they were like, you just need to do it 100 times and then it gets better. Or it's supposed to be uncomfortable. You're growing, or whatever gaslighty thing that they said. Well, it's because it's one size fits all. So it's not that whatever they put together doesn't work. It genuinely works for them, but they're a different person from you with a different service and an audience, and that matters. So most sales strategies and scripts are designed for the chatty, charming, aggressive person, the typical salesperson. And if that's not you, that's okay. You just aren't going to succeed with that strategy, if that makes sense. So the second thing is, have you ever had an experience with a pushy, aggressive, weird salesperson? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of times you're so afraid of being that person that you go 180 pitch slapping. Yeah. In the other direction. So you're underselling and you have no idea how to navigate a sales conversation without feeling pushy. So it's ironically training that makes people act like that. It's not natural and it doesn't follow a natural format for human psychology or conversation. Because the majority of sales training makes you just ignore your intuition completely. So in the end, it feels like the only way to do sales is I'm going to beat you with my bat and take you to my cave, whether you like me or not. But this is not a sales conversation, right? Black sheep don't have sales. Yeah, it does, Tarletta. It's so annoying. It happens a lot during networking. Black sheep don't have sales conversations. So mainstream sales goal in a sales conversation is getting a yes no matter what. And if you don't get a yes, then you failed. And as a result, they get less yeses. The black sheep sales goal in a sales conversation is to understand if the other person is a fit for their solution, and they might not be a fit. So it's a fitting conversation. It's not a sales conversation. It's a conversation what are your goals, challenges, preferences, time available, and budget? And then if it's a fit, it's a fact, and we move forward together. And all the communication that goes out before the sales call should reflect that as well. So, who am I? I founded the Black Sheep Sales Method. I've sold a lot of stuff, and I've helped other people sell a whole lot of stuff. And, I've always been a black sheep. I may look like a suburban mom. I know I do. But then I usually open my mouth and it surprises people because I am more direct, more blunt, all of these things. And you can find people who really appreciate and value that, which is a big part of fitting, right? You don't need to change yourself or put a mask on so that a client likes you, because that's draining. You can just have clients that like what you stand for and are about naturally. So, who are you? You are an expert at what you do, and your approach is probably a little different than mainstream. You create a very high value result, but sometimes people just don't understand it, because you don't know how to articulate it to them. And the idea of coming off pushy or aggressive makes you allergic, basically. And you offer something that has a longer term relationship and a higher price point. So you'd be really happy with 25 clients a year. And it's even more important for you not to have nightmare clients for that reason. So what we're going to cover today is focusing on fit, what you're really selling, shifting the mindset before the call to be more likely to say yes, questions that naturally sell you, and objection prevention. So I want to ask if any of you guys have had a good sales experience. You were like, wow, that person really took care of me. What made you say that?
Might be easier to just say this one out loud. So honestly, just their attention to detail. So I like nobody likes to feel sold, because you do want to know that it is a good fit, is actually what you want. And so when I went into the store, like I was shopping for I think like a purse or something, and what I was looking for, they didn't know at first. So they showed me this fur, and I was like, yeah, that one looks nice, but it's not what I'm looking for. I want something like that looks like this. And then they went back and they found another thing and they brought it to me. It's like, well, what about this one? And it's like, okay, that one's kind of right, a little bit better, still not quite. They went back, they found another one, and they came back and it was like, perfect, that's the one that I want, and we ended up leaving.
I love that. What a great experience. What you're saying is that they listen to you, which is what everybody feels like is a good sales experience. So 95% of clients feel that the typical salesperson talks too much, and they're more likely to make a purchase if they feel like the salesperson is listening to them. So that means you don't need to be this guy, right? You don't need to be this outgoing, and he might be a nice guy. You know, I don't know this guy, but I know that when people try to do sales, they all of a sudden think they have to put on this persona or this face of this chatty, charming, smooth, always saying the right thing, high energy, smiley, and extroverted. But I mean, if you think about it, like when you are a buyer and someone is acting like that, does it necessarily make you feel taken care of? Are you like, oh, this person's definitely got my best interest in mind? Probably not. You're like, this person is a salesperson and they're probably kind of embellishing or exaggerating things. So you just kind of trust them a little less, right? All you need to be really great at sales is genuinely curious, empathetic, and passionate. Like you just want to actually care to understand the other person, what they need, put yourself in their shoes. That's empathy, and how it would feel if you were in their shoes, and give them the best guidance based on that and get excited about helping them. It's this feeling like, look, you've been through some things and I'm sorry that, not I'm sorry, but like, that's really frustrating to go through that. And it's so wonderful that you're here so we can put that in the past, right? And we can have a better experience moving forward. People just want to feel seen and heard. It's such a rare experience to have, and it is so powerful for a human to have. And most salespeople don't make anyone feel seen and heard. They make them feel like they want their money. So if you aren't the typical salesperson, you're a natural pattern interrupt, right? A black sheep is a pattern interrupt, and that just makes people trust you more, just initially, because you're quieter, because you listen more, because maybe you're, I don't know, kind of a nerd and nerd out on your stuff. And of course, there needs to be structure around that, but we'll get into that. Okay, so the black sheep sales method is because when it's a fit, it's a fact, and there's no selling involved. So mainstream sellers are here to sell anyone as long as they have a working credit card. But black sheep tell someone when they're not a fit, because what we do doesn't work for everyone, and that's absolutely normal. So we're going to tell you who it doesn't work for and make sure that it's not you. So we're sure that a yes would be in both of our best interests, right? There's no, I froze. Well, there's no pressure or mind voodoo, right? It's very transparent. And this transparency always disarms buyers because it's the last thing they expect from someone who's selling them something. So the less you seem like a typical salesperson, the more they're going to trust you and the more they'll let their guard down so they can actually hear what you're saying. And this type of transparency should happen long before the actual sales conversation so that you have less heavy lifting to do on the actual call. Everything should be in alignment. So when we talk about focusing on fit, you never really get lost in the conversation, because a lot of times people will be like really caught off guard by a random left turn question, and then they'll end up going down a rabbit hole and then like convincing or defending themselves. But if you're just focusing on fit, really everything comes down to that. And it becomes very easy to transition into the sale in an empowered way, because it's like, okay, great. You have this challenge, you need this result in this timeline with this budget, and that's what I do. So like, let's do it. It's just really easy. So the some money is not better than no money trap. Has anybody here had a nightmare client? Yes. Okay. So it's really like short-term thinking to bring on a nightmare client, and it can feel like some money is better than no money. But let me give you an example here. So let's say that a new business owner comes to a paid ad specialist and they're like, hey, I just started a business and I want to run ads. And that paid ad specialist knows that that business owner is probably not going to get results because they haven't tested their offer or their message or their audience organically. And they have a choice. They can tell them, actually, you really need to test this stuff organically and come back and then put money behind it. And that's when you'll see the best results. Or they can tell them, let's go, knowing that they're going to leave in 3 months and be burned. And which one do you think? Way to go, Tarletta. That is liberating. She just fired a nightmare client this morning. That is so, your body and your nervous system is so happy, and it frees up space for new, better clients to come in. Seriously. Your peace and like emotional health is doesn't have a price on it. You know what I mean? Like there's no price. Because we've had those nightmare clients that are like $15,000 a month, and you're like, I can't let them go, but you can. So in the example of the paid ad specialist, where they could tell them that they're going to, they need to come back and that's going to be the most effective time, or they can just move forward. Which one do you think makes more money? It's definitely the one that is like, hey, actually, I'm going to be real with you, right? This is not the best use of your money unless you have a big financial runway. And that person's going to feel, when you do this, when you're honest with somebody, it makes you magnetic and they want to find a way to work with you. They're like, you're not going to lie to me? You actually have my best interest in mind? Oh my God, wait, how can we make this work? And they're going to refer people to you. And when they come back, they're going to stay for years. So when you're thinking about attracting and repelling, everybody thinks about their ideal audience, right? But they don't think about their anti-audience. And you need to be just as clear about your anti-audience. You need to, and you need to have more criteria for your ideal client than like a working credit card and a pulse. So, and you even need to look beyond industry title, niche, demographic, revenue, although those things can be important too. But there's a lot of like psychological and behavioral things that you want to think about when you're calling out your ideal audience, and especially your anti-audience, because you want your ideal client to be able to say, ooh, that person, I know who they're talking about, and that's not me. And so they can feel more confident moving forward with you. It's like the opposite way of identifying, because prospects are scared that you're not telling them when it doesn't work. Like, what about that 2 to 3% that's an exception? Like, is it going to be me? What does that look like? You're only telling me the good things, because that's what mainstream sales says, like to avoid talking about when it doesn't work and pretend that it always works and sell the dream. So anyway, when you're thinking about your audience, your ideal audience, think about who are the people who say yes and who are happy with results and the people that you like working with. So some examples could be like, they have a support staff in place. Maybe they believe in the supernatural. They have an impact-based mission. Maybe they have small kids, or they're business owners, or they're overwhelmed with social, or maybe they've tried something before and they had a bad experience. So they have that context coming to work with you. Or they have a certain level of awareness of your market and options available to them. Or maybe they have no awareness. So these are just some examples of some of the things that we uncover with clients whenever we say, like, who is so thrilled about the results they have? They usually have a certain timeline, a certain understanding of like flexibility needed. So for the anti-audience, the same thing, you know, what are the patterns in the people who say no? The people who are not happy with the results and the people that you don't like working with. So that could be, they expect you to be at their beck and call, or they expect to not have to do anything, or they expect it to be cheap, or they're unresponsive, or they want a guarantee, or they're prim and proper and you're the opposite of prim and proper, or you are prim and proper and they're not, you know, or price is more important to them than quality. Or sometimes they're just trying to check a box that says that they did it, but they don't really want to do it, right? So if you feel, I know it's going to take time and it won't happen immediately. So Charlotta says she loves when her potential clients tell her it's going to take time and it won't happen immediately and some things are going to fail. Yeah, that understanding of that context usually happens when they've had an experience or something and when they're not in a financially desperate position, right? So if you feel weird about calling out people who aren't a fit, another way of saying this is what you won't do as well as what you will do. So for example, I don't really do mindset work. I'm a nuts and bolts girl, right? The messaging work that I do absolutely helps lead gen, but I don't do it for you, right? I guide you on how to do it for yourself. Or I won't do PR, but I have great partners who do. So you really want to have those boundaries around your scope and the timeline that people need results and the level of access that they have to you. Those are the biggest ones that I see coming up a lot. And so when you're really clear and say, as long as you're not somebody who doesn't have a certain, like, let's say, as long as you have 2 hours available and someone that I can get all the assets I need from and like 3 months to play with, then this should be great. And that really makes people feel comfortable knowing, okay, there's nothing missing. I do hit all of that criteria, right? So does anybody want, maybe sometimes people are like, I'm not sure what my patterns are. Tarletta, it sounds like you do know what your patterns are, which is awesome. But if you want to talk a little bit more, does anybody want to work through this together and we can be really clear about who the person is or isn't? Because in the sales conversation, I recommend a section called When It Does Not Work. And you're like, so the only reason it doesn't work is blah, 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 blah. And you're going to say all the reasons. So is there any reason this wouldn't work for you right now outside of investment? Like, I want to make sure that's not you. Okay. And then everybody raises their hand and it's like an easy relationship after that. So does anybody feel like they want to talk through and they're not sure exactly who their anti-audience is, maybe? I can keep going.
Yeah, happy to raise my hand. Oh,
Okay, who is it?
myself, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Hi, what do you do?
Hey, career coach.
Okay, yeah, I work with many career coaches, so I've got an idea who might be the anti-audience. But when you think about, is there anybody who has not been happy with results with you?
In the past, yes.
Okay, so you've since adjusted.
Yeah, but yes, I'll leave it there. In the past, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So it's not happening really anymore.
Not right now, no. But I'm already a bit picky about like who I want to work with. I know there's people who aren't a good fit. I just don't know how to like draw them out or like what the kind of actual things are, I would say. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Tell me what in so many words, who's someone who's not a fit?
Someone who would just show up not having done the work, anyone who's like, again, like overthinks things. They like kind of half committed, again, half baked, very pushy, and expecting to hand it over to someone else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then what I would say, probably when you explain who it doesn't work for, and you can put this messaging in your social posts, you can put it on your websites, whatever. If you're someone who needs someone to save you, this will not work. So the only time this doesn't work is when you feel like just by investing with me, you're going to get a great job, because you have to do stuff. I can't possess your body and do it for you. I can't do the work to pull together your experience like out of your brain. You need to give it to me, and I can't go on interviews for you, and I can't apply for the jobs. So, and I can't show up to our calls for you. I I can reach out and hold you accountable to a certain extent, but I'm not going to babysit you. So, you know, does that feel like a fit for you? Are you typically somebody who tell me what to do and I'll do it kind of thing? Or are you like, I want people to do it for me?
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it does. It makes me feel actually uncomfortable. Oh, to like say that out loud myself.
Oh, it's probably because you're British.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you work with mostly people in the UK?
Mostly the US, actually.
Oh, then I would not feel
80% of my clients are US.
Then I can tell you that the Americans are very comfortable with that level of honesty. With people in the UK, you might have to go about it in a bit of a different way. Kind of like, so when you have, you know, certain meetings that you have to show up for, like, do you find that you attend 50% of them, 75? You know, like you could ask these kinds of questions to sort of uncover, because English people like are definitely different. But I do want you to feel comfortable in what you're saying, because if you don't, then you're not going to want to say it, or it's going to come out really awkward and weird. So that's another thing about mainstream sales that is really unhelpful. Is there like, you have to say it like this anyway, even if it feels bad. So what version would you, I would say when it doesn't work, at least I would say like the only time it doesn't work is when you're not doing the work, because you're going to have to do stuff. Are you okay with doing stuff? Do you feel better about that?
Yeah. And it could be something along the lines of, you know, if you're the type of person who expects someone to hold your hand and do your LinkedIn profile for you or update a resume, then you're probably going to need to look at someone else. But if you're the kind of person who wants to go away and you're like, you know what, I can commit 1-2 hours a week to this, great, then we can get the ball rolling from there.
Yeah, so part of your process is like, how many hours do you have available a week for this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure they got 1 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. As long as you have 1 to 2 hours. And then also, like, are you looking for more done for you or guidance? Like, do you want someone who tells you what to do and you do it? Or do you want somebody to do it for you? And if they say guidance is great, cool, then that's me, you know? You can't really do it for, I don't know any career coach who can do it for someone.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like I suppose like the clients who aren't a good fit, I don't know like what or why, but they just tend to drop off anyway during the sales process. Like during like by the time we even get to, if we were to get to the point even of pricing or something over there, then it's just they aren't going to close. It's just as simple as that. They aren't going to go through. And the ones who will, it just feels natural. So I have to be honest, I don't know specifically what, why, or how the things work that do work, but I just know when it doesn't work, I kind of feel that intuitively. And like something and then it's kind of like no, I don't need to do anything or not do anything. They will automatically be repelled anyway, which is a good thing. So I suppose my thing is I want to have less conversations with those who are a bad fit up front and tried so many things to disqualify them. But I am such a nice person that I will still want to help people anyway against my better interests or judgment sometimes. That makes sense?
Yes. Of course. We've all been there if you're a good person anyway. And it really helps to know ahead of time, like maybe in your pre-qualification form, you can ask, are you looking for more of a done for you service or guidance? We are guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So they can come in with that expectation or just not even book an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So those things ahead of time really help. It sounds like we would need to dive a little bit deeper because there probably are things that can help you like understand in the conversation and beforehand that maybe you're not, and you need words that make you feel comfortable in saying it and identifying it. Your intuition is always spot on. However, it helps to have objective criteria so you don't second guess yourself, because it's really easy to second guess yourself and think there's something wrong with you. And there's also like sometimes people are having a good day or a bad day and it's not like the best, you know, experience with them. So anything that can make it a bit more objective is usually helpful. But overall, less calls usually means more sales. It's not like, oh my God, someone wants to talk to me. Yay, I'm talking to them because they have a pulse. Like, no, we want to talk to the people who are the right fit. And if they're looking for done for you, then you can pass them to somebody else. Yes, totally, Tarletta. Disqualifying early can save you a lot of time. And yes, April, Americans are suckers for your accent, Alex.
See, I know. I was in a Zoom the other day, and this dude was on from the UK. I don't know whether it was Ireland or Scotland or England. I don't know. But like seriously, I was like, y'all, if I had an accent, I would never shut up, and that would be the coolest thing.
You do have an accent.
Not to me. This is not cool to me. This is just annoying.
Oh, people love the Southern accent. What are you talking about?
That's what I was saying to Alex. Like, it doesn't matter what he's saying to anybody. Just hire a bunch of Americans, and we'll just sit there and listen to you talk.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Alex, was that helpful?
Yeah, it was. And April, thanks for backing up why I have most of my clients who are Americans. It makes perfect sense now. Thank you. No, that was very helpful. Thank you very much, Aleasha.
Okay, good. Okay, so the next thing is like, what are you really selling? And a lot of people think like, oh, I have, like for you, Alex, it might be LinkedIn profile guidance, application guidance, strategy. Like, people don't actually want that, right? They want the result of that. And it's a really common thing for people to think they're adding value by listing how many deliverables that they have. And a lot of times you can assume that the other person knows why they would want that deliverable. Like, it's obvious why you want LinkedIn profile optimization, right? So that you can get more visibility from the right recruiters. But you need to connect the dot for them. So you don't sell graphic design, you sell branding that attracts clients who happily pay more. You don't sell photography, you sell memories you'll reflect on for the rest of your life. You sell the wedding pictures you'll be posting on social every year for the next 50 years. You don't sell operations, you sell someone doing their job right from day one. So this is like a big shift for people who are experts at what they do and are really close to it. So it's going to make a big difference when you start communicating it differently. Like, this is especially for anyone who feels like, oh, people don't seem to understand the value of what I do. Like, maybe they're talking about price too much. It's usually like a result of how you're explaining what you really sell. So does anybody want to talk through this?
I'll hop into that one.
Okay, Tarletta.
Yeah. So I am the marketing mechanic, and so we do marketing automation for small business owners. And it takes a while sometimes for us to really educate certain people on what automation actually is. I explain to them, like, I sell marketing automation, so I don't do social media posting. We take that post and we create the follow-up for that post. So if you want social media, you go to this person. You email marketing, go to that person. We sell here, you can create the conversations with your clients.
Wait, Tarletta, you broke up.
Wait, can you hear me? Yay. Okay, so I think it's raining where I am, and so it's like this messing with the internet right now.
Okay.
All right, so can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. And so just trying to communicate what that means and what it looks like in action for people. Because a lot of what we do is operations, so they'll see it as, well, you do marketing. I'm like, no, not in the traditional sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I think actually the next point that we're going to talk about is going to be really helpful for you. But we can talk about this one too. So basically what you're doing is you're saving them, like, I don't know, 10 hours a week.
If not more. Like, it's, we sell the entire system. So we actually have a customized system, and then we also customize. We do business in a box. But again, it doesn't work if you don't work, which is why I fired my client this morning.
Yeah.
We can make all the things. If you don't do the thing, it's not going to work.
Right. We can only do so much. So yeah, every point that you make, like each deliverable that you have, I would connect it to that end result, like where it's like saving you or your team 10 to 15, at a minimum of 10 hours a week. And I would talk to them about what they would do with that time. And I would also ask them how much time they're currently spending on this stuff. And do they feel like it's keeping them from doing more marketing because they just can't imagine doing email in addition to that. They want to, like, do they have things on their marketing list that they're not doing because it would take so much time? And what would that do for their business if they could do those things and they didn't take a lot of time? So you really want to talk around that the most so that they can connect to the result in their brain.
Right.
Is that
okay. Yes, it is. Like, I love what you said earlier, when you said you don't sell operations, you sell someone doing their job right from day one.
Yeah. You sell marketing that works from day one. You sell marketing that's never going to have, like, I don't know, the wrong name, like in the email, or like those embarrassing typos, or you know what I mean?
Typos are good for engagement, though.
I have heard that.
Actually, we have an automation that purposefully does a typo in the person's name, because we do SMS automation. And so we'll add a letter somewhere in their name, like, oh, my bad, but it's completely automated.
I have heard this, and it's very true. It feels like the real person. Okay, so I know you raised your hand, April, but I want to make sure we get through these. So hopefully it'll also help this one. I'm just giving you a couple nuggets on this process, because there's so much to each of these pieces, and they stack and layer upon each other to create a sales process and system that feels effortless, right? So on this one, you can't educate and sell on the call at the same time. It's too much in one call. And sometimes people think, oh, it's because they leave and then they do all this stuff on their own. Like, you can feel like I gave them so much value, right? But it's really that they're overwhelmed. So they leave a little confused and saying things like, oh, this is a lot to process, let me get back to you. Or like, this has been so much value, right? And so you just want to be really clear ahead of time with what they need to understand in order to make the best decision for themselves, or you're going to need that to be multiple conversations. It's adding so much work to your sales conversation to educate them at once. So you want to think about, like, what elements do your prospects need to know in order to have a deeper conversation? So like common misconceptions about what you do or the industry, or maybe like expectations that they need to have. So for example, I worked with a book coach and a book marketing coach. And all the time people would come to her and be like upset that they invested so much money to get their book published and no one was reading it. And so she had to have this whole conversation about how the publishers don't do marketing. People don't read books just because they exist. And so we took that out and sent ahead of time, like, hey, don't shoot the messenger. Like you need it, like, publishing a book does not mean that people read it. The good news is that it doesn't matter when you published it. You can always do a launch. You can always put marketing around it. And she would also educate around, like, I'm going to guide you on how to make money from your book that's not book sales. Because that's another big misconception that people have, that they're going to make money from book sales. And it's about pushing to your course or getting clients or something like that. And then she was also able to repel them at the same time, because they would be like, I'm going to pay you this money and you're not even going to like do the social media for me. So she would say ahead of time, like, I have background as a journalist, public relations, and marketing. That means that you get 3 consultants in one at a much more affordable investment level. However, if you need somebody to actually post and do the social media for you, that is not me, and I can give you a good resource. However, if you're looking for somebody to help you with the strategy of how to actually make the investment of time and money that you've put into this book have a return through more clients or course or anything else, then I can't wait to talk to you. So it's really powerful to have that ahead of time, because they just come to the call with the right mindset about it, So, yeah, this is definitely made me think of you, Charlotta. So obviously, like, it'll help you a lot to have ahead of time, like, what is marketing automation and what is it not? Like, what does it do and what does it not do? Like, and really sell that result of that and share, like, I have vetted, trusted resources if you're looking for this, and I can send those people to you. However, if you're just looking for somebody to do all the tech so everything works together and doesn't break and provides an experience for your clients that makes them want to work with you, then I can't wait to talk to you, April, did this one resonate with you at all? Because I know you had your hand up before.
For sure. I was just going to ask, so much of what I do is building an audience and helping people go ahead and talk about what they solve instead, because I only market two things, but I've umbrellaed them under the club is called Shut Up and Post. And because I think so many people, no matter what they're marketing, they just don't know what to post. Mm-hmm. And that's what actually brought me to Smarter Q to begin with, because a lot of what we post is sort of the same kind of message just over and over and over again. And, you know, like, how many hours do we have in the day to post this? But if we can queue it up, that's why we're all here, you know? And so it's just so smart to focus on what you're solving rather than, you know, like, I'm not going to say in my marketing, hey, you can use Page Wheel for your funnels and your content, and you can use send out cards to recognize people's birthdays and anniversaries. Nobody cares about that. They just want to know that their customers are going to feel so special that they're never going to leave them, and they're going to bring all their friends to them. That's what they really want.
Yeah. Wait, so are you talking about marketing or like client retention, or both?
Right, exactly. So through our marketing, we're teaching them to retain the clients they have so that they never leave. I mean, I think all of us have a vendor in our lives that we will go buy their thing no matter what, and we don't check their prices anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a local couple here and they own the meat locker. I will go there and get my steaks. I do not check the price. I want them to succeed, and I'm loyal to them, right? That's what we want. That's what we want our customers and clients to be for us, is that they know we'll deliver. They want our services, and then they'll bring their friends to us.
Is your service helping them with their client retention or their marketing? Okay, client retention. So then the pre-call education ahead of time would be like the biggest misconceptions about recurring revenue in your business.
Okay.
So the cost of a new client is this many hours, this much money. The cost of retaining and upselling a client is this. This is how people reach whatever amount of average recurring income that your people want, or annual recurring income.
Yeah. One of the best posts I had, and as far as reach and whatever, was asking, what would your business look like if you still had all the clients you'd ever had?
Ooh, I love that.
And everybody was like, oh, you know, like, what if there was no churn? And we don't guarantee that, obviously, you can't, but we can slow it down.
I mean, that's powerful. So being able to share ahead of time, they need to have that mindset shift that like, this is not about investing in more marketing and more lead generation.
Right.
Plug this hole first, because the people who focus too much on this, like the front end of the funnel, they are constantly on the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for more ways to get a new client, that's not us. If you're looking for more ways to have a predictable monthly recurring revenue, that requires very little effort from you, then that's us. And I mean, you could even give examples of what's missing in most people's process. So like, if you don't have some type of check-in survey, if you don't have some type of check-in meeting, if you don't have a welcome box, like, these things are very low time and investment that will make a huge difference in the end result. And those are the types of things we're going to talk about when we meet. So you want to get excited about it too. And so when they come on that call, you don't need to explain all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of my customers, she uses our card service. I mean, there's 2 or 3 different things that we use for this, but she uses our card service in particular. And she said she had lost a client. She's a health coach. She had lost a client, but she had all of her clients on automatic. Everybody got a birthday card in the mail, no matter what. And the person called her in tears and said, "You are the only person that sent me a birthday card. I'm coming back to coaching." And so she got the person back.
Yeah.
Because of a $2 card.
I mean, it's a great story. I hope that's content somewhere. It's really like, I talk about this often. Like, it's actually still sales. Once you already have a client, you need to continue selling the value of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is something that I focus on a lot also. And it's like, can we stop giving prospects all the attention, like this red carpet experience, and then the client gets, ghosted.
Right. You see that in all these cell phone ads, like new clients and new lines and new this and new that. And I'm like, I've been with you since we had a flip phone. What do I get?
Totally. Okay, so how many of you see how this feels different and more transparent than mainstream methods for sales? Okay, cool. And each layer unlocks another layer because your entire conversation becomes this transparent, collaborative, and honest conversation instead of pushy and coercive. So one of the good byproducts from this is you're really doing objection prevention instead of overcoming objections. So mainstream sales says, don't talk about objections until the very end, and then you're going to like defend them like this battle, right? And everybody's tired at the end. That's when they have the least amount of time, energy, and patience. So it's like, including you, right? So you really want to uncover objections throughout the conversation and disqualify in the ways that we've been talking about too, but also qualifying and making people feel more confident in working with you. So prompting objections early and often is something that we'll do in the deep dive in my diagnostic process and understand the common concerns and challenges you have with your clients. But I am going to focus on a couple of common objections and give an example of mainstream versus black sheep response to it. So the mainstream way of overcoming objections feels like you're defending yourself and you're dismissing the other person's concern, and it's kind of invalidating. So prevention feels like we're working on this together to understand if this actually makes you not a fit. And it's okay if it does, right? So, and it should be noted that not every objections don't always look like, I have an objection, right? Like a lot of times it's a question, it's an offhanded comment, and the answer is always to get curious. So this seems complicated. Has anyone ever heard this one? Probably. So the mainstream answer might be like, well, we have step-by-step videos that break it down and homework to implement after, and each module, so it's like really simple for you. But does that make you feel seen and heard? Does it make you feel like you want to buy from someone? Or does it just feel like, of course, that's what they're saying because they want to sell me something, right? Instead, which part? What seems complicated about it? Does having a 5-day-a-week tech support make a difference for you? Because I can't tell you how often people are just confused and unclear. And that clarity untangles the objection in itself rather than you trying to overcome it. So this seems really time consuming. So sometimes they'll say, well, considering that you get X return for this many hours invested, it's really worth it, right? Instead, you want to be like, how much time do you have? Maybe they don't have enough time. And that's okay, What's your schedule look like? Like what other commitments do you have? Really understanding this full picture with them, because a lot of times they have more time than they realize. Or what you're doing complements one of the other time commitments they have, like SmarterQ, right? Definitely these apply to SmarterQ too. The time consuming and this seems complicated, I'm sure come up. How about this seems expensive? I'm sure everybody's heard that one. So usually there's a really long tangent on everything included, or it can be like, is your like ultimate goal worth it? Or would you rather, if anybody's heard of like the mainstream sales strategy about bridging the gap from heaven to hell, it's like definitely comes up when this objection happens. They're like, well, you could just be like a homeless loser whose kids think that you suck and your wife divorced you. Or you could be rich and your kids could be in private school. So that really makes the investment seem small. And that's exaggerated because just to prove a point of how manipulative those mainstream strategies can be. And instead it's like, okay, well, expensive compared to what? Or like, what were you expecting? Like what made you expect that? Because so often whatever they're comparing it to doesn't include something that yours includes. Like, they're comparing your one-on-one support and online course to a Udemy course. It's like, okay, well, does having that one-on-one support make a difference for you? And if it doesn't make a difference for them, then they're not a fit. And that's okay, right? It's just about understanding where they're coming from. It's always this like, well, this person maybe isn't a fit, but I can tell you most of the time it is confusion and a lack of clarity because they're comparing you to oranges instead of apples and to apples. And the thing that you provide does make a difference for them. So usually I would do hot seat coaching, but we're pretty tight on time. So to recap, it's fitting, not selling. You want to connect the dots for your customers. You can't educate and sell in the same conversation, and get curious with your objections, okay? Please don't get discouraged by mainstream methods not working for you. Don't let it stop you from getting in front of the people who need you, because there are people out there who are really good at offers and terrible at fulfillment. We've all been there. Please don't let that happen to good people. My greatest joy is being of service and seeing people win. So if anything I've mentioned throughout makes sense to you to be able to leverage something new for new results, that's a very good sign you would thrive with the Black Sheep Sales Method. So I have this deep dive strategy that we talked about that we're going to give as a prize. And then I also have an offer that I don't have anywhere publicly, but instead of $500, I have an offer for $197. So I can have the link there for this too. But we should pick a winner. And I know that Emma probably has some great things to say. And I have a link for SmarterQ. Emma, I hope this was helpful to everybody and gave you like a different perspective.
You're muted still, Emma.
What?
I muted myself on the other one, and I didn't unmute myself on this one. I was just saying thank you so much. That was incredible. So valuable. And it's nice because I think that a lot of people do get roped into feeling like they have to be like a certain person to be good at sales, and you must do this, you must do that. But it really resonated what you said. So how do we want to pick the winner? We've got 4 people. Maybe I can just cover my eyes and then I can just point at my screen.
Cover your eyes. That sounds wonderful.
I'm gonna cover my eyes and I'm gonna pick someone. Okay, this is like the most fair way I can think of. I'm not looking right. It is Tyletta Williams. My finger landed on.
Okay, great, Tarletta. I can't wait to help you, especially you have like something more technical, which a lot of people struggle with, and it's easy to go down like rabbit holes of being too technical. So excited to put it in layman's terms for you. Did I not give what? Yay! Yay, Tarletta! Okay, so Tarletta, what's your email? And I'll email you to set it all up.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay,
if that's okay. I tried Tarletta at yourmarketingmechanic.com, but you have to spell my name.
Okay. Where is it? I don't see it. Do you see it?
No, I can
there
see.
It goes. Oh, it should be coming through. My internet decided to be mean to me in the last minute. So.
Got it. Got it. Okay, I will email you to set that up, and then the link is up there for anybody who, because this was generic and have something specific to you. It could make a difference between, we can talk about old client meetings, prospect meetings that didn't move forward, and getting some of those back. Or something that you have going on right now. I've worked on proposals in these meetings, and people go on to win the next one. We work on it together. So it's really just whatever's going to make the biggest impact for you and your revenue.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Also, if you haven't, I think a lot of people here are SmarterQ customers. Is that right? Yeah. I know that April's got a thumbs up, she's in. So if you haven't heard of SmarterQ before, if you're curious, okay, what is this? It's very, very helpful if you want to drive like top of the funnel traffic to your website, to your offer. It's really, really great because you can put all of your content in one place and save a lot of time. So we've got Christina is new to SmarterQ this week. If you want to check it out, make sure that there's no commitment. It's a 30-day free trial. There's no credit card needed. You can just go in, try it, and see if you like it. There's a link that Aleasha's put in the chat, and then you'll be taken to a 30-day free trial instead of the standard 14. So make sure that you sign up with her link. And check us out and let us know what you think. And also, I've got a question here from April. It says, I have a few SmarterQ referrals and wondering how we can check commissions. So have a partner program. If you're interested in making passive income, then you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to put my LinkedIn on here now, and I will share everything with you. Let me just quickly grab it, because I think that this is a question that keeps coming up a lot now, which is good.
Definitely.
to answer it directly, in SmarterQ, there's an affiliates page, and there's a link to view your affiliate dashboard, and you should also maybe have an email from it, but it's affiliates.smartq.com.
Awesome. Okay, I think I did see an email from you.
Yeah.
I can
That's
look
okay.
at that too. Okay.
If not, message our support team or find Emma.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we won't see anything until their 30 days is up, and then they decide to stick with you, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, that makes total sense. Yeah, matter of fact, Christina just said in the chat, she's here, because I told her the other day, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the bomb diggity. And when you get through there, and I told her, I said, do not sleep on that onboarding call, seriously, because you can look at this and you can kind of sort of figure it out, but like when they show you things like vary media or make it a carousel or do the first comment and stuff like that, you just go, and your mind is just blown.
I love that.
And then 2 months later, like, because I'm 2 months down the road now, I had a strategy call this morning with Christina. And it's so funny. I said, where are you? And she said, I'm in Bucharest, Romania. Like, I wouldn't know where that was. And I held a coffee mug. She was like, I mean, I'm sure she was creeped out. And I was like, no, seriously, I have friends in Romania. She was so super helpful. And yeah, that's how I found how to look at the analytics. And that's how we saw that post from 2022 that, like, of course, some of the posts, and I think raise your hand if you've ever had a post go viral that has nothing to do with what you sell.
Always. That's always
Always.
viral.
It's always the one that happens.
Like,
They're
one
"That's
of
it,
my
honestly."
posts was like, okay, Northerners, y'all need to come down here and get your drunk weather in my front yard because. And so, of course, that one went bananas. And I'm like, well, that has nothing to do with what I sell.
Getting you visibility though, so that's really good.
Right? So then my brain went, okay, wait, how can I switch this around? And so I put that graphic and I put it on a greeting card. And then I said, now you can send this card to all of your Southern clients.
I love that.
So I'm like, wait, there's got to be a way to make money with this.
Where can people find you, Aleasha, if they want to connect with you? I've just dropped my LinkedIn, guys, so if you want to connect with me, I can tell you more about the partner program. Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Yeah. Let me put in my LinkedIn here. That's definitely my favorite spot. And it's been such an honor, you guys, being here with you. And I love that it was a smaller group so I could really focus on everybody. And I hope you just can feel really confident in not having to do anything that makes you uncomfortable, because I promise if you feel weird, your prospect feels weird too. There's no reason to be weird in sales.
Perfect final words. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and we will see you on the next SmarterQ Masterclass. Thank you so much again, Aleasha. That was so cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Bye.
Everyone. Bye.